Hey everyone, welcome back. We're diving into AI today.
Sounds fun.
Specifically, language models.
Okay.
Those are basically like computer programs,
Yeah.
that can understand and like generate human language.
Mhm.
Like think about things like chatbots
Right.
or translation services.
Yeah.
Even some of the autocomplete features you see. And you know what?
Right.
Researchers have come up with a totally new way
Oh, wow.
to train these language models.
Interesting.
It's called critique fine-tuning, or CFT.
CFT.
Okay, we've got
Oh.
some research papers and charts here.
It's awesome.
So get ready
I'm ready.
for some serious insight.
Yeah, the CFT is interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a totally different way.
Really?
Yeah, of how we think about training these models.
Okay.
Instead of just like, feeding them the right answers.
Right.
We're teaching them to like analyze and critique
Interesting.
the incorrect ones.
So instead of just mimicking,
Yeah.
they're actually like understanding
Yeah.
why behind the answers?
It's like moving from rote memorization
Oh,
to actual understanding.
gotcha.
And to really get why this is so important,
Okay.
we need to look back at the old way
Okay.
of training these models,
All right.
which was called supervised fine-tuning,
Supervised fine-tuning.
or SFT for short.
Okay. SFT. Got
So
it.
SFT
Yeah.
is kind of like the classic classroom.
Oh, yeah.
Teacher gives you the info.
Right.
You try to like absorb it.
Yeah.
And then you get tested on it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And, SFT,
Yeah.
it works pretty well,
Mhm.
especially with like
Yeah.
the earlier,
Yeah.
less complex language models.
Okay.
But it's starting to hit like a ceiling.
Really?
Like imagine trying to cram an entire encyclopedia
Oh, wow.
into your brain.
Too much.
Too much information
Yeah.
to process well.
Right. So SFT is hitting a wall.
Yeah.
And CFT is like,
It's like finding a secret passage
oh.
to keep learning and
What?
growing. I like that analogy a lot.
And you know what's even cooler?
Right.
Is that CFT
Yeah.
seems to be more aligned
Okay.
with how we learn as humans.
Oh, interesting.
We don't just like passively absorb information.
Right.
We question things.
We analyze.
We analyze.
Yeah.
And we learn from our mistakes.
Totally makes sense.
Right.
So it's like that saying, we learn more from our failures
Exactly.
than our successes.
Yeah.
But how did this actually play out?
Well, the researchers put it through a bunch of tests.
Okay.
And the results are pretty impressive.
Right.
First, they looked at its performance on math,
Okay.
like the different math benchmarks,
Math benchmarks.
which are basically just like complex math problems designed to really challenge
Okay.
the model's ability.
So if an AI can't even handle math,
Right.
can we really call it intelligent?
That's a great point.
Yeah.
And on these math benchmarks,
Yeah.
CFT did really well.
Okay.
Way better than the SFT models.
For example, on this one benchmark called math,
Math, okay.
CFT got like a 79.4% accuracy rate,
Wow.
while the best SFT model
Yeah.
only got like in the low 70s.
That's a huge difference.
It's a big difference.
So CFT is not just good at math.
Right.
It's like a super achiever.
Yeah.
But does that mean it can only do numbers?
Not at all.
Okay.
The researchers didn't stop at math.
Okay.
They tested CFT on other STEM stuff too.
Like what?
Like, understanding scientific arguments and even like complex math proofs.
Really?
Yeah, they used benchmarks like GPQA,
Okay.
which looks at scientific reasoning,
Uh-huh.
and Theorem QA,
Theorem QA, okay.
which tests the model's ability
Okay.
to understand
Yeah.
really complex math theorems.
So we're talking about an AI
Yeah.
that can actually understand
Yeah.
and reason
Yeah.
about complex scientific and mathematical concepts.
It's pretty mind-blowing.
That's wild. But it doesn't stop there right now.
You're right to be curious.
Okay.
It gets even better.
Oh, really?
The researchers found that CFT
Uh-huh.
is super efficient
Okay.
at learning.
Oh, wow.
It gets these amazing results,
Yeah.
but with way less training data,
Less data
way less data
than SFT.
than SFT.
That's crazy.
So it's not just smarter,
Right.
it's also faster
And more efficient.
and way more efficient.
That's awesome.
In some cases,
Yeah.
a CFT model trained on only 50,000 examples
50,000.
did just as well,
Wow.
or even better,
That's amazing.
than models trained on over 2 million examples.
2 million versus 50,000.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
using SFT.
Wow. That's like learning on the fly.
Right.
But before we get too carried away,
Yeah.
let's talk about some limitations.
Okay.
Every system has its quirks, right?
All right, definitely.
So what are we looking at here?
Well, what are some of the challenges?
Right.
So one of the main things is that with CFT, it relies on these critiques, to learn.
Yeah.
And those critiques, they aren't always perfect.
Oh, I see.
It's like, imagine a student getting feedback from a teacher who, like, sometimes makes mistakes.
Right.
Or doesn't really get the subject.
So even the critiques need critiques.
Yeah, it's kind of a
rabbit hole.
Yeah, a recursive challenge.
Okay.
But even with these, like, imperfect critiques, CFT still does way better than SFT.
So it's like a student that can learn from a teacher who isn't always right.
It's pretty impressive.
That is impressive.
Yeah.
I imagine researchers are trying to make those critiques better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like refining that feedback loop, making it more precise, more effective.
Gotcha.
That's like a main focus.
Makes sense.
Of the research.
So we've got these outside critiques helping the models learn, but what about the models themselves?
Oh, that's a great question.
Could they, like, critique their own work?
So that's something researchers have definitely been looking into.
Okay.
This idea of, like, self-critique.
Self-critique.
Where the model analyzes and critiques its own responses.
It's like the AI thinking before speaking.
That's a great way to put it.
Right.
But so far, self-critique hasn't been
as good.
As effective as using those outside critiques.
So it seems like having that outside perspective.
Yeah, that outside view.
Is really important.
Even if it's not perfect.
Even if it's not perfect.
It's still super important for learning.
Right. We all have blind spots.
Exactly. Even AI.
Even super intelligent AI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't count self-critique out just yet.
You're right. It's still early.
Yeah. Who knows what the future holds.
And researchers are still trying to figure out
how
to make it work.
We've talked a lot about, like, CFT's performance and all that.
But how robust is it really?
Oh, that's a good question.
Can it handle different types of data and still be good?
So that's a key question.
Okay.
And the researchers really wanted to find out.
Okay.
They did these things called ablation studies.
Ablation studies? Yeah. What are those?
So basically imagine taking apart a car engine.
Okay.
Like piece by piece.
Right.
To see how it works.
Gotcha.
That's kind of what they did.
With CFT?
With CFT, yeah.
Okay.
They, like, systematically remove stuff.
Oh, wow.
Change different parts.
I'd love to see what would happen.
Yeah, what would happen.
So they really put it through the ringer.
They really did.
What did they find?
So the results were really good.
Okay.
CFT was super robust.
Nice.
Like, it worked well, even with data that wasn't perfect.
Okay.
Like real-world data.
So it can handle a little chaos.
Exactly.
Which is good because...
It's the real world.
Yeah, the real world is messy.
The real world is messy.
Yeah.
And it gets even better.
Oh, really?
CFT was also really good at handling, like, responses with errors in them.
Oh, wow.
Like, even with all those mistakes, it could still learn.
So it's like a student who can learn from a really confusing lecture.
Exactly.
That's a good skill.
Yeah.
What else?
So this is maybe the most interesting part.
Okay.
They found that even when the teacher giving the critiques wasn't perfect.
Like we were talking about.
Like with the noisy critiques.
Yeah.
CFT was still better.
Wow.
Than SFT.
So even a flawed teacher can still teach.
Can I still be a good guide?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's amazing how this all works.
Yeah.
CFT is like...
It's robust.
Robust.
Efficient and really effective.
Effective, even with imperfect stuff.
Yeah, even with imperfect input.
But what does this mean for language models going forward?
That's the big question.
Yeah. Yeah. Where do we go from here?
This is what's so cool about CFT.
Yeah.
It's like a whole new way of thinking about AI.
A new way of thinking about AI.
Yeah, like a new paradigm.
So what could that look like?
Well, imagine like AI models that don't just copy us.
Right.
But actually understand. And reason and like learn from their mistakes.
Like us.
Just like we do.
So instead of just digital parrots, we're talking about AI that can
think for themselves.
Normalize information. Come up with new ideas.
That's where we're headed.
That's the direction.
Wow.
It's still early stages, of course.
Right.
Lots more to do.
But it's exciting.
But yeah, the possibilities are huge.
Think about AI that can help us.
Yeah.
Solve those big scientific problems.
Totally.
Or develop new medical treatments. Or even write better code.
Yeah, the applications are endless.
And what about everyday life?
Oh, yeah.
Like imagine...
Like AI tutors.
Yeah. That could help us learn better.
Or AI assistants that help us communicate.
Exactly.
This is incredible.
That's pretty amazing.
CFT could really change things.
It's a game changer.
Yeah, not just for technology.
Right.
But for, like, all of society.
What I think is really interesting is how it makes us rethink learning.
Oh, yeah.
If AI can learn this from being critiqued.
What about us?
What does that say about how we learn?
That's a great point.
Yeah.
So could this like revolutionize education?
Imagine classrooms where it's not about memorizing.
Right.
It's about really engaging.
Analyzing and critiquing.
Exactly.
And not just in school.
Right. Think about like your career, personal growth.
We're always trying to get better.
Always looking for feedback.
Yeah. Trying to learn from mistakes.
Could CFT give us a new way
to approach that?
Yeah, a new framework.
What if we
had AI tools?
Yeah.
That gave us personalized critiques.
To help us learn faster.
Exactly.
That would be incredible.
AI that helps us grow.
Not replaces us.
Right.
Wow.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
CFT could be way bigger than just language models.
It could change how we think about learning.
For both AI and humans.
Well, we've covered a lot today.
We have.
All about critique fine-tuning.
This amazing new approach.
That's changing AI.
And making us think differently.
About learning how it works.
How it matters.
And what it could mean for the future.
It's all been really fascinating.
And now it's up to you.
To take this information.
And do something with it.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up, think about this.
Right.
If AI can learn so well from critique, how can we do the same?
How can we use it to grow?
Embrace it to become better.
Both as individuals.
And as a society.
Having the question.
Keep exploring this new world.
Of AI and learning.
And thanks for joining us for this deep dive.